Awesome. Thank you so much, Kimberly, and happy Monday, everyone. Apologies in advance if my voice starts going out or if I sound nasally and everything. I'm still fighting the flu, but I did not want to miss today's training with you guys. So we are talking about TikTok. Before I jump into that, real quick, um, you can always go to eoguniversity.com, eoguniversity.com, finalizing April's training schedule this week. We're going to talk about some buyer consultations, buyer presentations, maybe have a speaker on talking about the NRA, NAR settlements and that conversation as well, just for you guys locally in your market, talking about the buyer agency contract, all that good stuff. So, but you can always find all that information, eoguniversity.com. And if you click on video library, it's going to take you to our YouTube channel. All of these are recorded. So I'm going to throw this into the chat box real quick. You can always go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We're at 91 subscribers. We're almost to that 100, but we currently have 34 videos on there in building. So all these are recorded and on there. You can always come here to learn something new. Or if you missed a class, you can always go back. One trick here is once you're on the YouTube channel, if you click the little search magnifying glass, you can type in anything. So I'm just going to type in Facebook, and anything we've trained on with Facebook will be there. Same with LinkedIn. We've done listings. If I just type in listing, done several different things there. ChatGPT, I think we've done a few of those, right? So you can always come in here and take a look and search all those different things on your own time, 24/7. So please subscribe if you go there. And we will jump into today's session. I'm also going to give you guys this real quick so I do not forget. Copy link. This is a document for 100 content ideas. This goes hand in hand with video, which is ultimately what we're talking about today, TikTok, that video platform. And one of the biggest questions I always get is content ideas. What do I post about? Notice, and if you didn't know, I'm based out of Phoenix, Arizona, but I cover Arizona, Nevada, and Southern California for trainings. And you just swap out Phoenix for your local market. So is it Orange County? Is it San Diego? Is it LA? Is it wherever it is, right? You can just swap that out. But this is 100 content ideas that you can take and leverage and start making content today. So let me throw this in the chat box. There. And we are going to dive in. And apologies, I'm not on camera. I'm going to save you guys the agony of looking at Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because it's a real thing right now. But how you can crack the TikTok algorithm code in 2024. So before we actually dive into all those different, I have 7 different items that you can leverage to work the TikTok algorithm. But let's talk about the bill and for the TikTok ban. So you probably have heard that this has been a legal thing for a few years now, and it went into the House, and it actually passed the House, and now it's at the Senate, and we're waiting to see what happens. The president has said that if it does hit his desk, he will sign it, which ultimately would ban TikTok in the United States. However, there is quite a process. So even with that going on, and even if it does get all the way to the president's desk and he signs it, there's still going to be quite a period of time. We just know how legal battles go on. They get dragged out, and it's just the whole thing. But here's some tidbits just for you to know. So ByteDance, which you can see here, is actually the creator or the organization that owns TikTok. And the bill would give ByteDance or TikTok six months to find a buyer. So they have that little window period that if we wanted to keep it in the United States, which there has been quite a bit of talk around this, bunch of different entrepreneurs, large corporations like Google, Meta, Microsoft, even Amazon, who have very deep pockets, because we're talking TikTok's a tens of billions of dollars worth valuation for that platform. And I don't think a lot of people realize this, but it's not just a platform, a video platform where people are going out and doing little dances or trends or whatever it is. actually lots of companies, organizations, and entrepreneurs rely on this platform for sales. There's a TikTok shop. There's just a lot of different businesses on here that leverages, and actually a lot of revenue sources, including real estate agents, are going and connecting with agents on this. Some other things that are in that bill is if the company cannot sell the app, ByteDance or TikTok cannot sell the app in time within that 6 months, it's going to become illegal for the app stores and web hosting companies to offer TikTok, as long as it remains under the control of a foreign adversary. So what that means is it's going to we can't remove it completely off of everybody's phone, right? I have TikTok downloaded off my phone. So it's not like the government can come in and remove that from my phone. However, they can remove it from these stores, which inadvertently will not allow them to be updated. They're going to become slow. They're going to be glitchy. Lots of issues start happening with that app on your phone. So essentially, it's a slow die, if for lack of better analogy, but it will just slowly die as no updates or anything can happen. But if the bill does pass Senate and the president does sign into law, users will likely not notice any changes at first, right? The app will work as it always does for the millions of Americans who enjoy it. Just over time, it's going to start having a lot of issues, right? Glitching, not working correctly, all that good stuff. So who would buy the app though, right? Like I said, it's worth tens of billions of dollars. Um, and that's because of all the ads, how many businesses use it to actually sell products, all that kind of stuff. So it would have to either be a very large group of investors or someone with very deep pockets, a corporation like Google, Meta, Microsoft, or Amazon, right? So we know that Elon Musk went and bought what was Twitter, tons of investors on that, but he put in a huge chunk of money for that, and it was like 40 billion or something. Absolutely insanity. But so as we know, there are others, business people or corporations that can come in and buy that application for that. All right, so I'm going to go to the next one here. So how are agents winning on TikTok? Well, TikTok is now populated by seemingly everyone else, right? Where it's not just that lower or younger demographic. Everyone is on the platform. Everyone, including my 7-year-old father. So it's everyone is on that platform. Which, one day, if I haven't told a story, I went and visited them and I asked my stepmom, I was like, what is he doing? He's just over there scrolling. She's like, he's addicted to TikTok. And I'm like, wow, it's happening. So it's a very wide audience on that platform now. And as marketers, which we are, right, our whole goal is to get in front of more people. Hi, Susie. I just saw that you jumped on. You're getting in front of more people. So as a marketer, it's something you can no longer deny, right? This is a platform, a free platform that, as we start to talk about the algorithm, really works very hard at getting you in front of your local audience. One thing that's different from TikTok than some of the other platforms is they put a lot of focus on geographic location. So if you're posting content for SoCal, Costa Mesa, San Diego, Orange County, LA, wherever it may be, their goal is to get you in front of those eyeballs that are actually in that market, which is huge, 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 huge. And that means that if done the right way, your videos will make their way to the people you need them to go, right? Those who live in that market, which is huge. That's critical. So again, as we talk about the whole bill and everything, and we all have our opinion, but if it does actually pass, it could be detrimental to a lot of local businesses, a lot of small businesses, especially that rely on that geographic location within that local market. So that would be kind of a sad thing to see happen. The biggest piece, I think, within that bill is just, right, because those servers, that data, that information is all based in another country. So yes, that does seemingly, could be a security thing. So one of the proposals is if somebody does go in and buy this, all those servers and all that data and everything would obviously be moved to the US, which would solve that data issue. Okay, let's talk about the rules. I got 7 rules here. So again, if you have questions as we go through this, just please unmute yourself or throw it in the chat box. We have a small group today, so happy to do the Q&A as we go through this. But rule number one, and this is probably the biggest rule that separates TikTok from a lot of the other social media platforms, but it's probably just generally good advice for all of them. So rule number one is hook them fast, right? Who has an attention span anymore on this call? It's very small. It's a very short attention span. So we have to hook them fast. And I say this before, we all have our own consumption of some type of content. So do you scroll on Instagram? Do you scroll on YouTube? Do you scroll on TikTok? Do you scroll on Twitter, or what is now X? What platform is your go-to when you're at home relaxing or taking a break at work, or just there's a certain platform that we all kind of gravitate towards. So this is good advice for all of those. But you need to retain 70% watch rate for the first 3 seconds of your video. 70% watch rate for the first 3 seconds of your video. That is the average time that it takes people, or that people are willing to give your video a chance. And if you fall below that 70% watch mark, TikTok is going to start downranking you. Okay, they're going to start downranking you, making it a lot harder for you to get views and in front of people. So you want to make sure that whatever that hook is, you can capture them within that first 3 seconds. Let's talk about some of the ideas there. So what does this mean? It means that you need to spend some time thinking about the hooks you're going to use to grab attention in those first 3 seconds. So the trick here is to capture curiosity, right? Pose a question or toss out a statement that people will feel the need to know more about. And on this point, it's super helpful for you to remember that your videos are being shared with a local audience. Always keep that in mind. So one of the questions you could pose is, why is San Diego, or this says a neighborhood that I wrote down in notes, but maybe it's a city or a local area, but why is X market the worst neighborhood in Southern California, right? Now, that may sound negative at first, but you're capturing their attention and you're posing a question to somebody that may have thought about moving there or currently lives there and thinking about moving. And your rebuttal on that could be because too many people flock to our great restaurants, nightlife, and friendly people, of course, right? There's a lot of benefits there. But you're posing that headline, that hook, right in the beginning. And then through that video, you're answering that question, or you're expanding on that statement that you're putting in there. So go through that list here. So let me escape through here real quick and I go back to this list. There's 100 different hooks here that you can kind of play on here, right? Even the top 10 restaurants near San Diego, or benefits of living close to Orange County's main attractions, or whatever it is within this. So you can kind of take these content ideas and turn them into a question or a statement that would actually get the user to be hooked and continue watching that. Because remember, let me go back to the stat. You need to retain 70% watch rate for the first 3 seconds of that video. Okay? All right. Number 2. Post cadence. What does that mean? When should you be posting? This is a question we get all the time, just in social media in general. So if you want to break out on TikTok and start amassing followers quickly, you should be posting, I hate to say this because it's going to make everyone start sweating, 3 times a day. 3 times a day. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is, but marketing and branding can be a lot. That's why we're going to talk about bulk creating content, where you're spending an hour a week creating content for that following week or that month or whatever it may be. You're setting time aside, you're time blocking to create that content. So 3 times a day. However, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So we know that's a lot, but it's what it'll take to get the TikTok algorithm to start prioritizing your videos to the right people, right? We got to feed into it so they can figure out who our right audience is and they can get it out there to the audience. So you don't need to keep this up forever, is what I'm telling you. You just do it for the first initial few weeks, maybe. And then if If one video a day is more manageable, then absolutely go with that. Because here's the thing, guys, and this is everything I coach on. Even if you are more consistent on something that you post less than the competition, you're still going to be ahead of the game. Because here's the thing, burnout is real. If you go and you post 3 times a day for a month and you get it, you're just burnt out from it then, and you don't touch it again for another year or 9 months, whatever it is, then you're pushed further back than where you were. Okay. So always move forward and start with what you can manage and what you're comfortable with. So when you're going to start, make sure you plan for batching plenty of content ahead of time. Batching content is huge. This is a game changer for the top agents and teams that I work with. Uh, Batching content is a game changer. So that means that you're putting it on your calendar, you're scheduling it, and maybe you're getting an accountability partner, right? Maybe an agent that is within your same brokerage or community, or you're friends with them, and you're saying, hey, I know we need to be doing this. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's schedule 1 day a week or 2 days a month or 1 day a month or whatever it is. And for that few hours or whatever it is, all we're going to do is bulk create content for our online presence, our social media platforms. Now, the times that you post are just as important, and this is where we get the biggest question, right? When should I post? What are the good times? Now, these times are going to be specific for TikTok, but you can try them out on the other platforms as well, because each platform kind of has their own time cadence. But before I say that, you may want to make sure that you never post more than one video within the same hour. Okay, never post more than one video within the same hour. And of course, you're going to post these. I'm going to tell you guys these times, but you're going to post them in your time zone. So obviously, I'm writing this for Arizona and Nevada, and we're currently on the same time as you guys right now. But you want to make sure that you are posting in your time zone. So the first cadence is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the second is 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the third is my sweet spot and where I consume the most is 7 p.m. to 9:30. That is me unwinding from the day. 7 p.m. to 9:30. It's a lot of people, right? We're sitting there, something's probably on the TV, we're cooking dinner, whatever it is, we're hanging with the family. And what are we all doing? We're just scrolling through to catch up on the day to see what's happening. That is our unwinding time. So 11 to 1, 3 to 5, 7 to 9:30. So that's your schedule every day, X amount of times a day. We're saying 3, but if you can handle 1, perfect. Within those time windows, you want to make sure you're posted within that time cadence. Any questions on that part or this part? Cool. Rule number 3, post length. This is another one that's a little bit different for TikTok, but at the same time, very similar. So some of these numbers that I'm going to give you might sound low, but it's actually driving up in terms of, the first one is 7 to 15 seconds, right? A video that's 7 to 15 seconds. That's very short. How do you even do that? Well, maybe it's a quick clip of you previewing a home, or maybe it's a quick clip of current interest rates or buyer programs, or 7 things you need to do before you list your home, and it's a graphic that includes those 7 things that they need to do before they actually list their home. So how long should your post be? Well, in general, it's a tough question because people are finding success with all types of different lengths, but the majority of them are going to fall under these categories. And TikTok has traditionally prioritized videos that run between 7 to 15 seconds, right? Super short, quick, viral videos. But they've recently updated their algorithm to push longer content, over 1 minute, over 1 minute. So if you think about YouTube Shorts, which is currently 60 seconds or less, okay, YouTube Shorts, which I love. Instagram Reels, I think you can do 1.5 minutes now, 90 seconds on that one. But TikTok is pushing and has updated their algorithm to push longer form content, which is relatively still short form content, but longer than what they're used to. And just remember, you're not necessarily looking for views. You're not looking for views. You're looking for followers. And this is how you get them. Okay. This is how you get them. You want to work with people that are in your local market. So if you post something and you're like, oh, I only got 10 views or whatever it is, it's okay, right? That's your first post. Or, you're 3 posts in and it's starting to level off. That's okay in terms of engagement and views, because that just means the algorithm is finding your local market, your local people, right? I always talk about micro and macro. Macro is global, which would be like real estate. Micro is San Diego real estate, Orange County real estate, super specific. The whole point of doing all this marketing is not just for the fun of it, because I don't think a lot of us think it's fun, but it's so that we can be in front of more clients, more in front of more of our ideal audience. So my suggestion is to use the 3 daily posts to experiment and then track what is getting the most attention, right? So the first 2 to 4 weeks, if you're posting that 3 times a day, post different time variations. So maybe the first one is 15 seconds, the second one's 30 seconds, the third one is a minute. See which video does better. See which video does better. That's not just for TikTok, really. So if you're going to post on YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, leverage it for that as well. And there, but kind of break it up so you can test and see which length does better. Because right, each market is different too. Your market may be different from Las Vegas compared to New York, compared to Florida, compared to wherever it may be. So here are the length, post length options. So 15 seconds would be the first, 30 seconds would be the second, a minute to a minute and a half would be the third. Okay. And as you start creating video content and you're doing a 30-second one or even a minute, and you're like, that just does not seem like a lot of time. Trust me, that's plenty of time for a market update. By the time you get to 30 seconds and you're doing a minute video, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I talk about now? Right? It is a good amount of time for what we have to discuss. But that would be the suggestion is 15 seconds test, 30 seconds, third one would be a minute to a minute and a half. And then this is where the analytics come into play and are super important. So with all platforms, including TikTok, you're going to have analytics to see, how many people are watching that video, demographics, all that kind of good stuff. And it's crucial to find what works best with your audience. So that first 2 to 4 weeks, as you're putting out all this content and you're basing it off of that post length that I just told you, the 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and the third one would be a minute to a minute and a half. You're going to be able to see which ones are doing better, what times of days are working better. And you'll be able to see all those demographics and everything, even titles that you guys are including. Maybe one went viral because your hook or your title was awesome and really connected with people. So that's what made it go quote unquote viral. All right. Number 4, use the right features. Let's talk about features. And the one that we're going to really focus on is green screens. Green screens. So I talk about this a lot in our YouTube Shorts trainings. But within the app, it has a built-in green screen. Yes, you do not need fancy equipment. You don't need an actual physical green screen behind you. You don't need anything other than your cell phone for that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But grabbing attention with visuals that are just meant to be eye-popping and addictive, but don't add any real value to what you're saying is probably not the best solution. Yes, you want to have maybe that intro be, grab their attention right away. But if there's no real value into what you guys are posting or in the hook, then over time and fairly quickly, that audience is going to lose interest and you're going to start de-ranking. You're going to start de-ranking within the algorithm. So you want to make sure that you're posting valuable content. And this kind of comes in with the right features, because that green screen is a great option for you guys to take a screenshot or show an image behind you of a market update or maybe a news article of NAR and everything that's going on right now. And you can there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of, I see so many articles that the 6% commission is going away. And it's like, well, first of all, there's never been a set standard. It's always been negotiable. always, 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 always been negotiable. That's just what the public has been given. But I don't know about you, but for me, for over the last several years, it's been a negotiation thing with commission for a very long time. So a lot of misinformation out there. So you can take screenshots and show those behind you as you are talking about it. Maybe you're pointing at it and everything with that green screen features. Your entire mission is to get people to know, like, and trust you. And that is so much relies on that with education. I want you guys to think all the content that you're putting out there, is it educational? Does it benefit the consumer? Put yourself in their shoes. If you watch that content or consume that content, is it something that would help get to know you better, like you, trust you, and is it good, valuable information? If you're just chasing, trend chasing garbage, you're actually doing the opposite. So yes, there's trending music you could use. There's different trends that you could do that could work for the real estate industry. However, if you're not providing great value in educating the consumer, it's going to do the opposite for you in what our mission is. So there's that one feature that TikTok algorithm is prioritizing, which is going to be huge for you, and it's that green screen. So those videos or those pieces of content that are using the green screen, kind of like what Jameer is doing right now. I think you kind of popped on and your image was behind you. But if you are leveraging the green screen, TikTok is actually prioritizing that feature over the others. And again, it's a huge way. Go back to that 100 pieces of content link that I put into the chat box. Maybe you're taking a screenshot of, again, a market update, or maybe a new restaurant that's just opened, or maybe it's an article on your website that talks about the 10 best hiking spots. And you take a quick screenshot on your phone and that's behind you. And you're talking about it as it's behind you. Or maybe it's a photo of a new listing that's behind you, or a video, or whatever it may be. You can leverage the green screen feature and it's actually going to boost your ranking and put you in front of more of your potential audience. So the goal is to add value. And if you can't add sufficient value 3 times a day, then do it once a day, right? Let the algorithm do the work. So if you commit to once a day, then just make sure that there's huge value in that post that you're doing, and you're already going to be ahead of the game. Okay. So again, you want to leverage the features that are in there. The number one feature right now that's being prioritized by TikTok is the green screen option. Okay, one thing I did mention is stitching and sludge content. Stitching and sludge content. So if you've ever consumed or saw a video that's kind of half of the screen, or the top video is like you, and the bottom video is, I don't know, somebody cutting soap or something random, cooking, or something just random, right? We've seen those videos where they're kind of stitched, or they're duo. So one of the videos are talking about what you're talking about, the other one is just something literally random. Cutting soap is something that I see all the time. And it's just one of the features that are on the platform. So you want to make sure that, again, you're just posting valuable content in there, and you're not just only doing, what you think is viral, what everybody else is doing. But in our industry, we have to make sure that we are putting out valuable content. So things for buyers, things for sellers, things for investors, things that give schools. How far is the airport from your local market where you're selling? So overall, the right feature you should be using right now and leveraging is green screens. All right, show your audience what they care about. This kind of goes hand in hand. Okay, this kind of goes hand in hand. So you want to make sure that you are putting out that valuable content. Give the people what they want and what they need. The more tapped in you are to your audience, the better chance you are not only getting followers, but having people reach out to you. This is where the magic happens. So you are putting out content that's all about your local market. So for instance, if you're, I'm just putting this out there because Kimberly had mentioned it earlier, Big Bear, right? I'm just trying to think of some other local market, Costa Mesa, right? San Diego. So whatever your local market is, You want to make sure all of your content is tailored around that local market. The more that you do that on TikTok, the more likely you are going to rank and be in front of those local people. So this is huge for listings. Video content in these platforms are huge to build trust with homeowners and to capture more listing leads. So talk about all things at local markets, home warranties, um, inspections. Talk about do a pre-inspection video. What are the top 5 things that come up on inspections in your local market? Homeowners insurance. Are there any things? I mean, you guys have, right, California earthquakes and natural disasters and things like that. Talk about those and how that affects insurance and all that kind of stuff. When are property taxes due? How does that work there? All those different valuable pieces that you can incorporate into your videos, but you want to make sure that you are educating them and giving them what they want to hear about and what they care about. Again, maybe there's legislation that is affecting homeowners. I know here in Arizona a couple years ago, we had the homestead law that changed and really affected homeowners and their equity. It was a huge drawback for homeowners, actually. It was not great. So we created a bunch of content around that. We actually partnered with attorneys and other local people here to bring them more value and more education on what they need to know about that. So you want to make sure you're always showing your audience what they care about. All right, this is a hard one. Patience. And give it time, which is difficult. Right? Because we want to do a post. Here's the thing. Here's how the human brain works, especially in 2024. We do a post, we post it, it gets 10 views, and we think this doesn't work. This is terrible. This isn't this. I'm not going to have ROI on this, right? You have to have the long-term mindset. Real estate in general, no matter what side you are, is a long-term game. Long-term game. So you have to have patience. You have to give it time. Just because a video didn't get as much traction as some other ones, or maybe some other content creators, doesn't mean it's a bad video. Okay. The ultimate goal again is to make sure that it's getting in front of the right audience. So is 10 views, and I'm just using this as an example, but is 10 views in your local market better than getting 1,000 views somewhere else in the world, right? It's much better. The whole goal here is to get views and meet people in your local market. Quick stat here and something to keep in mind is that it takes most people at least 50 posts to have one viral video on TikTok. I know, I just exhausted you guys. 50 posts to equal one viral TikTok video. All right. So again, long-term game, have patience. It's not a rush. We don't have to get there tomorrow. Just lay it out, put it on your calendar, and make sure that you are time blocking so that you can, do this consistently and not get burnt out. But just know this is just the average stat. It takes most people at least 50 posts or 50 videos on TikTok to go viral. The number is true for both people who post 3 times a day and the people who only post now and then. It doesn't matter how often you're posting. It's just that's the kind of the benchmark of that 50th post is kind of the average of what it takes. So remember that it isn't a race. You're in the real estate business, not the TikTok business. You're in the real estate business, not the TikTok business. You're in real estate business, not Instagram business, not YouTube, right? But all these platforms you can leverage and take advantage, and they're free. And these algorithms do the work for you. They help push it out to get you in front of your ideal audience. Okay. So just have patience, give it time. Just the whole virality thing out of the picture, it takes time just to learn this, right? It takes time just to use the application and just get used to it. So don't beat yourself up over, not going viral or having success on TikTok or any other platform, tomorrow. It's going to take time. All right, link out to longer content. Number 7. So you're in the real estate business again, not the TikTok business. So you're leveraging this platform to meet your ideal audience. You're leveraging this platform to get your message in your branding out to the masses. You're leveraging this free platform for it to put you in front of your ideal audience. But TikTok is to grow your following, not to convert them. TikTok is to grow your following, not to convert them. Conversations don't necessarily come from TikTok, and that's why you need to be linking out to longer content or other channels such as your Facebook or Instagram or your website or HomeBot or whatever it may be, right? Your call to actions always need to include some other piece of content. So if you're talking in the video and you're having them reach out to, uh, you know, to find my buyer guide or my seller guide or whatever it is, go to my website or go to this URL or go to follow me on Instagram at Justin Taylor or Ask Justin Taylor or whatever it is, right? You want to make sure that you are including additional places for them to be able to go to then get deeper into your ecosystem. Meaning now you are talking about the buying process or something, and you can say, to get the full buyer experience or timeline, go to my website at www.website.com and you can download my free buyer guide, right? You're always linking them up with something else. You're including other pieces of your business or platforms so that they can continue down that rabbit hole. And here's the thing with that, with all digital ecosystem in general, right? Your Google business profile, your website, no matter what it is, even if you're calling them on the phone, you want to keep them hooked for as long as possible. The longer you have them hooked, the less likely they're going to want to go somewhere else, right? Who likes to explain themselves multiple times? Nobody. Who likes to retell their story several times? Nobody. So if you keep, just like if I'm prospecting, you're making a phone call and you're, keeping them on the phone the longest, they're not going to want to have that conversation with somebody else over again, right? So you want to make sure that you're keeping them in your ecosystem for as long as possible and those strong call to actions. Instagram in particular is a place where agents are having extreme success in converting leads through direct messages, through DM. So be sure to always include your Instagram handle in your caption of your videos, right? So a lot of these platforms are starting to allow you to have one link. So maybe you're using a link tree or something like that, but you can always promote your other channels like Instagram or your website in those captions as well. All right, I'm going to pause there for a second. I know it's a lot of information. I didn't go heavy on the deck today because I didn't want to just read off of it, and I wanted to kind of have more of an open discussion with notes and stuff. But any questions on TikTok or leveraging any of these 7 rules or optimization ways to be able to get more traffic and really just you as an agent get in front of more of your ideal audience. I think the biggest takeaway here is posting consistently, but also know that TikTok is huge on geographic location. Huge. It is the #1 platform out there that puts so much emphasis, other than Google business profiles. TikTok puts so much attention on geographic location. So you want to make sure you're leveraging that. And the content you're putting out there is specific to your local market. Okay. And just to summarize a few things, rule #1, hook them fast. What headline are you gonna talk about or question you're gonna pose that's going to make them to continue to watch that video? Your post cadence, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. would be #2, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. #3 is 7 to 9:30 p.m., 7 to 9:30 p.m. Post length, if you're going to post for the first few weeks at that 3 times a day, or maybe it's not, maybe you're doing once a day and you're going to just go through the different lengths, post lengths. So the first one, 15 seconds, you're going to test 30 seconds for the second one, and a minute to a minute and a half for the third one. Rule #4 was use the right features. You're going to leverage the green screen. I want you guys to leverage the green screen. That is huge right now. Get with Kimberly or your sales executive for whoever it is there, and you're going to start getting Altos reports. If you don't know Altos reports, go to our YouTube channel or reach out to your representative at Escrow Options Group, and they can go over it with you. This is free for you guys. It's amazing. We use Altos in Arizona and Nevada as well. It's amazing. It's all about active data. And what I do is, because they have beautiful visuals, is I take a screenshot on my phone after I click the little link that Kimberly sends me on a weekly basis, and I take a screenshot of that, and then now that's my background, and I'm recording a video, and I'm pointing to it. I'm talking about the data points in that video. Huge, 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 huge. So you want to make sure that you are leveraging that green screen. It's the number one feature right now that's being prioritized with TikTok. And of course, you want to show your audience, number 5, you want to show your audience what they care about. Education. Always think about educating the consumer. What is it that you want to tell them that would help their buyer or seller experience, getting them through that process? Number 6, this is just life in general, patience. Patience, give it time. It's not going to happen overnight, but do know that it takes at least on average about 50 posts to have a viral video on TikTok. And then, of course, number 7 was link out to longer content. You want to make sure you're always promoting and having a strong call to actions, whether you're sending them to look at homes or a blog or your property valuation page, whatever it may be. You always want to have a strong call to action, linking them out to somewhere else in your digital ecosystem. All right. Any questions, feedback? Again, I thank you all for being here today and enduring what sounds like to me underwater. I don't know if it's my ears or not. What was that?
I said I thought you sounded fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Samantha, are you still there? I know you were heading off to something.
Yes, I am here.
Awesome. Did you get a gold nugget today?
Oh, I actually took some great notes. I'm really excited about that. The 3 times a day and the time frames is incredibly helpful.
Good. Yeah, that is one of we always like with social media in general, right? When do I post? How often do I post? All that good stuff. And my ultimate message, it used to be like, no, you need to post 3 times a day. This is what happens. But here's the thing, that B word is real, burnout. It's a real thing in our industry. So I have empathy for all of our agents. I've been licensed since 2016. I understand. I've been on several different sides of the industry. I get it. So I just want to make sure that you guys are set up for success. So if 3 times a day seems daunting, start with 1, right? But it's a great thing to do in the first 2 to 4 weeks when you start posting content on TikTok, so that you can understand, or TikTok can understand your audience, and they can get you in front of the right people in that sense. So awesome.
Yeah, I didn't realize about posting later in the day. I didn't realize that, it's mainly driven by geographic. That was a great nugget to learn. So
TikTok is huge, geographic location, which is a huge benefit. And I think that agents in general have kind of, we see TikTok as for the younger generation. Kids are on it, all that kind of stuff. So there's been a lot of resistance. And then the whole legality thing with what's happening there. But it would be very sad for TikTok to go away, because so many businesses rely on this platform, just like Instagram, just like Facebook, just like all these other things, to get their message out there, to grow their brand, and to meet new customers and all that good stuff. So TikTok is by far number 1 when we talk about social platforms for geographic location.
Awesome. Thank you for that information. You always give us great information, so we so appreciate it.
Of course, of course. Any other questions, guys? Feedback? Any other trainings that you'd like to see on this platform? We would love your feedback, and to see, like I said, April, I think we're planning a buyer consultation, buyer presentation. There's been a lot of focus on that with this whole NAR settlement and everything going on with the changes in our industry. Having some guest speakers just speak about the buyer broker agreement and buyer agency and all that good stuff. So we will get that out to you guys later this week. Otherwise, this video was recorded. I will get it up on our EOG University YouTube channel by tomorrow morning, and we will see you guys in the next training. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you have an amazing Monday.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Justin, for another wonderful training session.
Of course. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.